Okay, good morning. Hi, Danielle.
Good morning, Liz.
Well, I want to welcome everybody. We're doing a live Facebook. We're doing Power Vision as we always do. And today I have Danielle McAllister with me. We're going to be talking about her practice. She is a licensed professional counselor and she has a practice called Hearts and Minds. She also teaches it or works at a school too. But of course, she's home now. So, Danielle, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
How are you and your family doing with all of the social distancing?
I would say we're doing good. We're learning, right? As we go along, we realize that at first you start one way and it may dip in terms of how excited we are about all being together. And then we may find those times where we're a little frustrated or we need some space. So we're just managing it the best way that we can. I think like most families, just trying to stay in it and stay positive. I think is the biggest thing.
But and it gets hard sometimes. I mean, after we've been doing this 4 weeks, and we were just being told we have another 4 weeks.
Right.
So it's hard to keep up with that and just keep up the positivity. So how are you working with your customers or your clients? What are you telling them to deal with?
Well, one of the things is that teletherapy is something that is a great resource to my clients. We can't meet in the office, but we want to continue their care, right? So for those people who are already seeing mental health professionals, they can continue receiving that assistance through teletherapy. And I think that it's very beneficial, even for those who've never been a part of counseling or received any counseling before. I think it's important for them to understand that counseling is still available. And teletherapy is one of those outlets that allows you to be in quarantine, be at home, but still receive some support.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things I think that we all have to manage is trying to maintain routine. I recommend to my clients, it's hard, it's easy for us to get off track, to kind of watch a lot of TV or do a lot of scrolling on the phone or just lay around snacking. You see a lot of that on social media where people are talking about snacking and drinking alcohol and all of those things. But keeping a routine is extremely important, not only for the children, but for adults as well, because there are some things we can't control in it. And our routine and what time we wake up, as simple as what time we wake up, and are we having breakfast? Are we having our coffee? Are we going to bed at the same time each day? Those things play a major role in how we function throughout the day.
One of my friends told me she started making her bed every day.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's necessary. I mean, even for myself, I was laughing and I was this week I got up and I put on a collared shirt. I'm putting on my collared shirt, trying to keep up with those things that I would normally do. It helps me feel a little bit more balanced.
So what are some common things that you've encountered, more like feelings or expressions from clients throughout this period?
Well, there's a lot of things that about stress. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of anxiety about the future, stress about loved ones and their own health and work and finances. There's a lot on everyone's plate right now. And one thing is for certain that we should be very kind to ourselves, right? Because there's a lot of stress. Watching TV and the news, a lot can cause a lot of anxiety, right? We watch and we see the death toll climbing. We're seeing people in hospitals and there's not enough ventilators and people are losing jobs and business, that can create a level of angst that you can't really, it's hard to shake. And so we have to be very aware of those triggers. You know, we want to be informed, but we have to, one of the, another tip is just making sure we're limiting some of that media consumption. There's a difference between being informed and then you're just watching it on a like 24-hour reel of all of the horrible things that are happening. So just being informed is good. You know, we know about social distancing, we know about washing our hands and masks and things like that that are helping to protect us. But watching it over and over all day has an impact on us,
What are some other?
physically and emotionally.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I've done that. I've definitely limited how much TV I watch. Even comparing it to after Katrina, I was obsessed with watching TV after Katrina. So I'm like, I'm not doing that right now. No way.
Absolutely.
So what are some other tips that you would recommend for, those of us that are staying home, people that are by themselves? We have a lot of people that have their kids there, but there's people that are by themselves that don't have anyone.
Well, one again is keeping the routine. Physical activity is very important, right? Any type of exercise or movement that releases those good chemicals, those endorphins that make us feel good, right? So making sure that you're active. Online now you can go on YouTube, you can go on Instagram, you can go on, and there's all kinds of free workouts there. You can connect and you can see others that are online doing the same thing. But even just moving around, going out, just stepping outside your back door or your front door or going on your porch, getting some sunlight. Meditation. Everyone can't meditate or aren't used to practicing meditation, but you can meditate in terms of whether it's journaling, that may be your form of releasing, yoga, just stretching your body and connecting with your physical being is one of those things that is extremely important. I've tried to add it, on most days, making sure that I have a time along with the schedule of what time I'm getting up in the morning and things like that. What time do I work out every day? What time am I getting the kids out to work out and get some sunlight and move their bodies around, because they need to, use up some of that energy as well. So exercise and movement, yoga, meditation, those are great things to incorporate in your daily routine. And it's a way to kind of calm things down. And if you don't know, again, Google is your friend, YouTube is your friend.
Exactly.
The internet in a positive way can help in getting you to learn about things that you hadn't done before, right? Instead of just focusing on some of the negative things. Also journal writing, just writing out your thoughts is very helpful for some people. We have those people that are artistic and creative. I'm I can't say that I'm the most artistic and creative person, but I do like to write and journal, right? Or I have friends that they can paint and they're creating, and that's just planting in the garden, whatever they're doing. Those are those type of releases that help them have some control. And also, one thing about technology that I'm loving is that we can connect, right? Even for those who are by themselves, they can connect with their family members, their friends, their coworkers online, on your phone, on your laptop. Call them up. There was times where I had an anxiety about, am I sick? Like, and this may be common for some, like I coughed. Is something wrong with me? And there's some panic. And so just getting my girlfriends on the Skype, we all on the Zoom call, all to be able to provide some relief. That was extremely helpful for me. So, reaching out and connecting with your friends and being creative about it. I've seen people do cocktail hour,
Yes.
and I know people are doing Bible studies. And
Hmm.
so these are things that we can use that even though we're separate, but we can still remain connected.
So those are all really great ideas, and some of those that I've done already.
Mm.
On the flip side, you and I talked briefly before we started this about your husband, and my husband is home working from home, and
Mhm.
I guess Deuce is also.
Mhm.
That gets stressful too, being
Right.
because we're not used to being together all day long and working, and we're having to manage my workspace and his workspace and respecting that and his calls and my calls. How are you dealing with that with your husband?
Well, one thing is that everyone deals with this, and I think it's important in households and in relationships, is that everybody is managing stress differently, right? So I may be on one hand, I'm more like, oh, clean, sterilize, everything. I may be more like that. And my husband may be a little bit more relaxed, okay? And so sometimes it takes some communication in terms of what you're feeling. Um, Creating a schedule or separating and putting an area in your home where this is my workspace, this is your space, or I'll be here during this time, you'll be here during that time. That kind of helps with managing all of the additional stress and communicating. For me, we have here at home, we have my 6-year-old and my 10-year-old. My 10-year-old, if I allow him to play the video game all day, that's what he'll do. But my 6-year-old likes to be under mommy because mommy is here. He wants mommy to entertain him and mommy, 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 mommy. Well, sometimes that's a little bit hard because I'm still working. I want to make sure that I'm accessible for my clients. And so I need a little space. And he's not calling daddy as much as he may call me.
They never do.
So just being able to say, hey, to my husband, like, could you help me out a little bit? Like I'm having a hard time. He really needs my attention, but I need some time and space alone. So just I think communicating. If we never communicated before, this is the time to say I'm stressed. I'm
Yeah.
scared. I'm overwhelmed. I need some space. I need to go and sit in the car, or I need to go and sit outside, and I don't need anybody to disrupt me. This is the time where we have to communicate with each other because that's all we have, in this space. So, I mean, I think, managing relationships, but it's important that there's communication. As a counselor, I just believe, sitting in silence, suffering in silence it's just not healthy. Sometimes you need to express what's going on. And
Yeah.
I think it's important, especially with those that are in the home with
Absolutely.
you. Yeah.
I agree. Well, I'm going to totally switch subjects now because I could talk to you about that
Oh yeah.
all day.
Mhm.
But you're like I was saying, you're a power member. I want to talk to you a little bit about power and tell. I want you to share your experiences about power with our viewers. There might be some new power members here who haven't been able to go to a join up yet, or haven't been able to have a in-person meeting yet. But then we have many who have. So I just want you to share your experience with us.
Well, first of all, I want to say this has been a great experience becoming a part of power. Um, Going into private practice, being my own boss in that area is new for me, and looking to have a group to support you, other women that can share the information that you need, and connecting is always helpful. When I went to the first meetup, um, that was great, right? So there were women who were working in various fields, but they shared such a honest view of entrepreneurship and business, and working, that was extremely helpful. Also, I can call, I've sent you emails and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Can you connect me? It's like, oh, in just a second, I get an email. Well, let me connect you with her and she can help you. And I'm like, wow. And then it's like, whatever you need, there's this network is so strong. And I'm so, lucky to be a part of it because it has helped me so much already.
Well, that's so good to hear. And I love hearing those kind of stories. Your business is called Hearts and Minds. Do you have a website or
So I'm on
social?
Psychology. I have a Facebook page and I'm on Psychology Today. So if you go on Psychology Today, you can find me. And then on Facebook, you can find me as well.
So what's your handle on Facebook?
Hearts and Minds Counseling Services.
Okay. I'm going to tag you on this so we
Okay.
can have it. I'm writing it down. So anything else you want to share with us before we go? I mean, I'm so excited. It's Friday. We get the weekend to be at home. Oh, wait, we've been home all the time. It's like Friday every day.
One thing I just want to share is about the schooling for the children.
Mm-hmm.
We know that everyone is not a teacher. And a lot of the parents, of us parents, we just aren't teachers. So I would just encourage them to be patient with yourselves. I know there's a lot of things. It's like there's a lot of judgment on, am I keeping the kids' schedule? Am I doing the work correctly? Are they learning what they should?
Self-judgment,
right? About whether I'm doing a good job. Well, I want to say that the parents are doing a good job. And your children are different. And you'll learn that, and it's okay that, a school may recommend or a friend may recommend that you stick with this certain schedule. But for some child, it may not work. For my 5th grader, yes, he has to log on at a certain time and there's work that he needs to do for each subject. My kindergartner, I tried that, right? I tried that and it just does not work for him. So, because one is that you have all of the assignments and you try to condense it all in this certain period of time. Well, throughout his regular school day, all of that is spaced out. And so for me to try to put it in this certain period of time, it's frustrating for him. And so I had to learn, like, this doesn't work for him. And so what I'm going to do is maybe he'll do a little bit at this time and then another part at the end of the day. And then sometimes if he's just not really feeling it, maybe he can learn a life skill. So he learned how to ride his bike. Well, I'm happy with no training wheels. I think those are important skills that he's learned. He's learning to tie his shoe. He likes that. There's certain things that we can kind of bend on to make it less stressful for us as parents. And another thing is contact your school counselor. They're still available. They should be still available. Mm-hmm. So if you're having trouble with your student, you're at home, contact your school counselor. There may be some suggestions that they have. They may have seen a trend in certain grade levels. For instance, middle schoolers may be having a different experience than the smaller children because they're in that in between. You can't give them a bunch of crafts and they're just going to be like, that's not their thing. And so kind of talking to your school counselor or your administrators, like, what are you getting calls about? Have you noticed something? Do you have a suggestion? And then bringing it to their attention as well helps them to kind of say, send out some more information or give you some ideas about what you can let up on or what's highly important. So, communicating with your schools in that way is also important.
I didn't even think of that you could contact your school counselor for your mm-hmm. children in school. Yeah, that is a huge resource.
A huge resource because, they've been with your child at school.
Right. Yeah. Right. And I wasn't even thinking that y'all would be accessible, like the school mm-hmm. counselors, because, I was thinking teachers only, but yeah, the counselors.
The counselors are also available.
So what other resources would you put out there for our viewers that may need help or looking for counseling or? maybe depressed or anything like that?
Well, I will say you can always contact like national suicide prevention lines and disaster distress hotlines. But you can also locate counselors on, like I say, Psychology Today or BetterHelp. The University of Holy Cross was offering free counseling services at one point. Facebook, contact your pediatrician, contact your doctor. They may be able to provide referrals for you in terms of counselors in the area, of counselors that they've worked with before. Again, your school has resources available too, as far as counseling and services and things like that. Check the counseling, the Louisiana State Board of Counselors and things like that. And those can be resources that you tap into that can be very helpful.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning. It was so nice to see your bright, smiling face and spend some time with you.
Thank you.
I can't wait to get back together with everyone and see each other again in person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
I'm excited to see everyone.
Yeah. Well, I hope you have a great weekend with your kids and your husband. Mm-hmm. And I hope that all of you out there have a powerful day. So till next time, we'll see you later.
See you later. Thank you.